Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
Let me bring in Michael Beaumont now, who is the National Chairperson for ActionSA. This is regarding what is happening in Ekurhuleni. By the way, we've tried to get the mayor on the show. We're told that he's going to have a press conference, so he's not going to be able to come. Because what I wanted to ask is, how do you announce your cabinet? You announce MMC positions and you've not consulted your coalition parties or the parties you want to bring into your coalition. It just doesn't make sense to me. So now he's left with egg on his face because 3 of the positions he's announced, the EFF have said no, and ActionSA has also said no. Michael, thank you so much for coming through. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm as confused as you are, Clement, so I hope I can still try and be helpful to your question.
Are you telling me that the mayor not once yesterday contacted ActionSA and said, hey, this Xolani guy that you have in council, I want to give him an MMC position? How do you feel about that? He didn't do that?
Well, he's been burning up the phone lines for days, including yesterday, but ActionSA has communicated repeatedly that we are not interested in taking up a seat in this government. We viewed it as a failed government and a corrupt government, with the revelations arising out of the parliamentary committee's work. And from our point of view, it was a non-starter. As recently as last night, there was a meeting of those who were to be included in this government, and ActionSA indicated we were not available. And the response we got is, well, we will announce you and then you can withdraw, which is a crazy way for a major city as complex as Ekurhuleni to be run. And it points, Clement, I mean, it's funny in one breath, but it's sad in another. Because this is a city with complex problems, communities that have needs that are not being met by the government. And if this is the kind of leadership being expressed by the mayor, then ActionSA very clearly has made the right decision to stay away. I also want to say, Clement, that there's a very clear effort to relegate Xolani as a ticket writer for bylaws. Xolani is a crime fighter. It's kicking down doors of drug dealers, and putting him in charge of bylaws is a very clear effort by the mayor to rein him in and have him subservient to the government rather than doing the work that he is renowned for.
Okay, so can you be honest with us, Michael? Because I mean, in politics, these things happen a lot where you try to bargain for something else, and if they give you something you didn't ask for, and then you withdraw and you say, oh, we don't want this. Are you telling me that as ActionSA, there were no other positions you were interested in? So even if they had given you 3 more positions, you didn't want it because you don't want to be part of the government in Ekurhuleni?
Correct. As a matter of fact, the response from our president to the mayor was, if you offer us the mayoralty, we'll consider. Because without wanting to be funny, Clement, and without being tongue-in-cheek, we have come to appreciate in the coalition dynamic in Gauteng, when ActionSA leads a coalition like we do in the city of Tshwane, there is service delivery for all of its citizens. The Metro Police work, the fight against corruption takes place, the audit outcomes improve, and there is stability. But rather, when we are led in a coalition by mayors who have proven incapable of leading complicated cities like Dada Marrero, like Mayor Kakazi here, it is a situation where, we'll find ourselves subjugated to inadequate leadership that fails the residents of Ekurhuleni at a critical time where we need to be the alternative. And you can't be the alternative if you're reporting to the people that you need to be the alternative to.
Where does this leave the mayor, Michael? I mean, he doesn't have the support of ActionSA. He doesn't have the support of the DA. He sure doesn't have the support of the EFF. Julius Malema has been angry over the last couple of weeks over what's happening in Ekurhuleni. And now that the EFF has also said to the mayor, no, we're good with these positions, unless, of course, there are negotiations happening behind the scenes. This leaves him vulnerable. I mean, if there's a motion of no confidence tomorrow, I don't see how he's going to survive it.
Well, absolutely. It clearly is a lame duck government, one that doesn't have the numbers to govern, much less survive a motion of no confidence. And there is a governance crisis taking place in Ekurhuleni at a critical time. I mentioned earlier that the revelations rising out of these parliamentary committees about the corruption and malfeasance taking place in Ekurhuleni is horrific. Clearly, this has been a cesspool, one which has been allowed to go and operate with impunity for years. And this is a time where strong political leadership will be needed to turn it around. That kind of leadership is clearly not on display. It's not leadership that has a majority support in Ekurhuleni. And it really is a sad day for the residents of Ekurhuleni that this is where they're at. But, our answer to why we wouldn't step in to save this problem now is to say there's a local government election coming up in November. We need an alternative. We don't need to offer a failing government a crutch so that it can continue to stumble its way to the elections and continue to hurt its residents.
Michael Beaumont, thank you for making time. He's the national spokesperson for ActionSA. I mean, quite surprising how the mayor of Ekurhuleni has handled this entire thing. I mean, if you're sitting down with a political party, and of course, that's if you believe what ActionSA tells you, as I always tell you on the show, believe in politicians at your own peril, right? I always take what politicians tell me with a pinch of salt. So I don't know what the mayor is going to say later on. But if you believe what ActionSA is saying now, that the mayor told them, hey, I want to give you guys a mayoral an MMC position. And they told the mayor, no, we don't want to be part of the mess in Ekurhuleni. In fact, if there's one thing we'll take here is a mayoral position and not an MMC position. And the mayor apparently said, well, in that case, then I'm going to make the announcement and you guys can then withdraw. Isn't that weird? And that creates an impression of an unstable metro. How do you run things like that? And hopefully we're going to hear more later when the mayor of Ekurhuleni hosts this press briefing. Let's hear how he's going to explain how things have transpired.
Morning, Clement. I mean, I agree with Malema yesterday when he praised Ramaphosa. He commended his posture on foreign policy and his relation. I think Ramaphosa, we may often criticize him not having a spine, but when it comes to foreign policy and the Trump administration, he has stood his ground. And I like that. So I think this guy will be washed. And on Ekurhuleni, I just want to say something. Can one party bring a motion of confidence against Bagaza? I just want to see what happens, because Vele he's going to lose. He's going to lose. Prince, Bedford View.
Yeah, he can't survive it when you look at the numbers. He is officially politically exposed. I mean, what kept him, what kept the stability was the fact that at least they had the EFF, right? They had the EFF as one of the coalition partners. He doesn't have the EFF. Unless there's background conversations going on right now, but he doesn't have the EFF, because I spoke to sources in his government who told me the EFF sent a letter this morning saying, we are not taking those positions, we're good. And now ActionSA, who does he have? The Patriotic Alliance? I mean, the AIC is out because that MMC is no longer an MMC. He's politically exposed. And I don't know what move other political parties are going to make, but if they make a move sometime this week or at some point to bring a motion of no confidence against him, how does he survive it with no numbers?
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
On 702.
4 minutes before 10 o'clock, I want to bring in Sinawo Tambo quickly, who is the national spokesperson for the EFF. Remember, we spoke to Michael Beaumont earlier from ActionSA because they've said no to the offer made and the announcement made by the mayor of Ekurhuleni offering Xolani Khumalo that MMC position. Well, the EFF has also said no, as I've been telling you this morning, to the offer for the two MMC positions. Sinawo Tambo joins us now on the line. Sinawo, thank you for coming through. Good morning.
Morning, Clement. Morning to the listeners.
Yeah, why have you said no to the MEC for these two MMC positions?
Look, first and foremost, you said no because the decision was unilateral. So whatever all other political parties which have said no have experienced, we've also experienced. So we made it very clear to the executive mayor of Ekurhuleni last night already that we're not going to accept any reconfiguration that will result in the EFF receiving two less MMCs, but also more critically, which is more and far beyond the number of positions we have, is the restructuring of the portfolios themselves, where he has removed the portfolio for water and sanitation and placed those responsibilities under a new portfolio, which is led by a newly appointed ANC councillor, ultimately undermining the work the EFF has done to ensure that there's consistent water provision in Ekurhuleni as well. There's been countless disagreements we've been having with them, as you'd be aware. They've removed our MMC for finance in 2024. They've removed Our speaker was removed, and then they refused to replace our speaker with an EFF candidate subsequent to that. So there are those disagreements that have been occurring throughout, but the restructuring of the portfolios and shifting of responsibilities is critical to the reason why we don't want to form part of an irresponsible, irrational, and a government that works on the instincts of Xhakazi.
Yeah. So what happens if there's a motion of no confidence in the mayor? Do you support it as the EFF?
Absolutely, we've made that very clear. Any motion of no confidence in a mayor of the ANC, in a premier of the ANC, will be supported by the EFF. Any budget presented by a government of the ANC in Gauteng will not be supported by the EFF. This goes for the budget of the legislature as well. So all cards are on the table now, and I think all of us as South Africans, and particularly the people of Ekurhuleni, should now be keenly aware that Xhakazi is running this government on instincts alone, and there's no appreciation for stability of governance, for stability of service delivery. Because currently, as things stand, she doesn't have a mayoral committee.
Sure, it's quite tricky. She doesn't. There are some positions that are now vacant, and it's interesting to me that, ActionSA said it, the EFF is also saying it now, that we told him last night that we don't want the positions. And somehow the mayor, in his wisdom, thought, I'm still going to go ahead and make the announcement. That's weird. It's 2 minutes before 10.